I'm Lindy Rio, live at 2421 South, 400 East. And I just have some questions on why this bond was not broken into smaller pieces and having multiple bonds. Midway Elementary is one particular issue. The high school is another issue. A lot of people are split on this. I hate to see everything go dip down and Midway Elementary not getting the work it needs because it's in total bond. It doesn't seem to me that the school board has worked with the county planner and the city planner on where additional growth is coming from in the county. It's all in the north end. They're going to build 8,000 houses between the ski resort stuff and all the stuff above Jordanelle. And we're putting a school down where they're going to have to come down the highway. Now, I realize that we need the school immediately. Why aren't we building onto the high school we currently have? We have the plans, we have the land. It will fix the immediate problem and then work on a new high school as the growth continues. The new high school, if we start now, it's not going to be ready for years. And we've got a problem today that needs to be looked at. Personally, I think the bond should have been for helping the school that we currently have and Midway Elementary, and a separate bond for the new high school. I'm not saying that we don't need it, but I'm not sure we're looking in the right place. The land that we're looking at buying, as they're saying, is yes, it may have potential if it's annexed into the city. It seems like we're buying it as it's annexed into the city, even though it has not been. It's also in a floodplain and is in wetlands. It doesn't make sense to put it there.
Hold on a second. Any response or? So I'll start. I think I just want to say with regards to highest spending per capita, I'm going to go back to we are the third fastest growing our size of community in the nation, not just in the state of Utah, but in the nation. And that's something that the school board cannot control. We cannot control the growth. We have to react to the growth. And that is why we're having to bond for a new high school, and we're bonding for Midway Elementary because it is at capacity. And we feel there's some safety issues. There's not enough room for kids to play if we expand that. And as far as expanding our current high school, and this is for me as a board member, it's about student opportunity. And giving the students an opportunity in all aspects of education and not being just a number of a huge high school. I had a similar situation growing up as Tom Stone. I've gone to Brighton High School before I moved to Heber. I think at that time it was the biggest school in the state. When my family moved to Heber, it gave me a huge opportunity to be someone, have an opportunity to participate in a lot of different activities, not just athletics, but in the school play. One of my highlights, I was in the school play. We've never done that at a bigger school. So these are reasons why, as a board, we've talked about this, and it's a reaction to the growth. We don't have control of that. We're at capacity at that high school. Not only at the high school, but in the overflow over at the old junior high. And as indicated, we continue to get students every day. So that's my comment.
I'd just like to address the annexation and the location of the high schools. Close High School. One of the first meetings we held was with the planner of Heber City. He brought over a plat showing the annexation of that property and where it was going to be annexed to. I believe on Heber City's website for their future master plan or whatever the name of the page is, but on their website it shows what they're going to annex, what their future annex is. In our first public meeting, Mayor Potter addressed that. We asked Mayor Potter to come up and confirm, which she did. It was in the plan to be annexed. Yes. So we, in meeting with the cities in the county, we've done that. We did that very early on and identified where this was going to be. We met with UDOT on the bypass, showed them what our plans were and asked if we needed to do something with them before we proceeded. They told us to proceed. So these things have happened. I think we stated that in the first public meeting. I just want to reiterate it today. We've had those meetings. As far as separating the bonds out to into separate bonds, we've looked at these over the past, 2 years, for the past 2.5, 3 years, over different situations, different sites, different locations, what it would cost to bring in utilities, all of these things. We've had extensive meetings on this. We believe that this is the most vetted plan considering all of these items. So I feel confident with the plan and I support the plan.
I think it should be said too, we extensively looked at the safety of this spot, and it's not in the floodplain. You know, we've looked very closely at that. It's a very safe spot. This, and I think it needs to be said too, it's very difficult to get lots of pieces of ground to come together. We had so many issues on trying to make this all line up. It's not like there's just raw ground sitting there that we can build a school on. This is an effort from a lot of people to acquire the site. But it is very, very safe where we're going to put this school. We had Paul Berg, engineer, study the flood. I don't know the government, what was the government?
Corps of Engineers.
Corps of Engineers that did the study on a worst case scenario if the dam were to break and if that water were to come down, how would that affect our site? And where we're building this school, the elevation that we'll be building it at, there will not be flooding in that school. There'll be flooding close, it'll come by, but it will not flood the school. And that's based on the study that the government Corps of Engineers did. And that's the worst case scenario if that dam were to fail.
If I can just add some detail to that. If the dam were to fail, which it's a very high unlikeliness that it would, Paul Berg was here in a prior meeting and recorded these details specifically. The dam is built to to withstand a very high magnitude earthquake, such an earthquake in the 7s that there's never been one on record in this area. If it did fail, a couple of interesting points. There would be a 50-foot wall of water come down the Provo River channel. So in working with the Bureau of Reclamation and those people that specifically manage the dam, which Mr. Berg did, you draw that 50-foot wall of water vertically, and then you map it back towards this high school site. That 50-foot wall of water would end some 3/4 of a mile away from our school site. Now there might be some intermittent flooding, most likely from the canal that comes around that direction, but it would not be more than 12 to 24 inches, which would not enter the main level of the high school. Another item to be aware of is we can evacuate schools very rapidly. If there was an incident, which there's probably several other incidents that we would be more concerned about the dam breaking. If that did happen, it would be almost 1 full hour before the water would reach that area. We can evacuate the school in literally 6 to 10 minutes. So we think that one has been put to bed, put to rest as it being an unsafe site.
Can you make a comment on that?
When we're finished, you may come to the podium.
It's on that very set there. You can come to the podium when we're done here.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just think it's important to clarify. There's a difference between a FEMA floodplain and a dam breaking flow of the water. And where the school is almost 1 mile outside of the flow of the water if the dam breaks. Not in a FEMA floodplain at all. hard.
It's not FEMA.
To be able to have a dam break, you need a 7.4 earthquake. We're going to be dealing with an earthquake of that magnitude in that school before the water shows up an hour later. So I just think it's really important that everybody understands that we're not in a floodplain. If the dam breaks because of an earthquake, we're dealing with an earthquake, and then we're dealing with water showing up an hour later, and we're almost a mile outside of where the water's going to show up. So this is something that has been brought up just to deter individuals to support the bond, and it's not true, what's being said. It's not wetlands. There's a small portion that have wetlands that have been identified, and that portion has to be replaced by the school district with other wetlands on the property. And so we're preparing to do that and making sure that the environment and the kids remain safe. So
If we don't do that, the Corps of Engineer comes and says cease and desist. I mean, very clear. We have to follow those rules.
and then, we've also talked to the health department, and we looked at a lot of different locations. And the health department is concerned about sewer. And they highly strongly recommend that we find a site that has the ability to tap into city utilities, city sewer, city water, city electricity. And that's one of the reasons why this site is appealing to us, because it will be a part of that and have those utilities. And then when you have growth, you also have infrastructure. So you do need roads. You do need increased fire and police and schools and utilities, power, electricity. That's all part of being in a community that's the fastest growing in Utah. And we say that like it's a badge, like the superintendent says it's not. We wish it weren't that way. But there are costs with growth, and it's infrastructure. And schools is one part of many different programs and projects that are going on across the city and the county to be able to handle the type of growth that we're experiencing. And then lastly, I'll just say that nobody around here is spending money just to spend money. We take our elected official responsibilities extremely serious. And we're a little unique than some of the other county and city entities in that we have the most employees in the county. So if you look at Wasatch School District as a business, we would employ more people in this county than any other business. We're not a business, and I'm not saying that, so please don't take my words and think that I'm putting it in that light. But Wasatch County School District employs more individuals in this county than any other entity. So with that, it's important to know that in our capital fund, the millions of dollars that reside in our capital fund, 90% of that goes to salaries and benefits. And the remaining part of the funds go to infrastructure and programs and resources in schools. And so because it's such a large budget, it has a big spotlight. And we understand that, but we also understand that the culture of a large organization like the school district is really important. So goes the culture of the school district and the attitudes and the energy, so goes the attitude and the energy to the county. And if we had disgruntled employees, and if we had rundown schools, and if we had things that didn't apply or give opportunity for the schools and the students to have the best chance of success, we have a lot of really unhappy, angry, dissatisfied individuals in this county, and it wouldn't be a fun, exciting place to live. And so we see that in twofold. One, we have a responsibility financially, and two, we have a responsibility because a lot of people are counting on us. And we try to make the best decisions, and they're hard. And you need to know that we're not trying to spend money just to spend money. We're really, really trying to do our best with what we have in the current growth situation.
I also just want to clarify on the information of property that has been given or offered to the school district. We do have a developer that has offered to the school district 70 acres. And we're accepting that. And we looked at that as a potential high school site. The location of that, twofold. We didn't feel like it was the best site as far as where our growth is. And our growth right now is Midway and the east side of Heber. That is where the immediate growth is coming. We definitely know there's going to be growth coming north. And there'll be times down the road when the board will be talking about it, probably another high school. You've got 8,000 units. Probably going to have another high school.
That's a whole other district.
And that will be down on the north side. But as we studied this particular site that was offered to the district, just the cost of excavating and making it to where it could be built for a high school was $6 million plus to be able to excavate and take that site. So we have accepted it. They're going to, and in fact, we just met with them the other day and they're looking to change that site to a different site that's not as steep for the future. And again, we will accept that site and we will use that site. But it's not the site that is best for our community for this next high school. And especially with the cost, as we studied that, of what it would cost to excavate it and prepare it for another high school.
Students that will attend this new high school, if the bond passes, will be the west side of Heber in the Midway area. So you can imagine building a high school out north. In the Jordanelle Basin, there's probably less than 100 students that are currently bused in from the Jordanelle Basin. We know that at some point that's going to explode. We realize that. They've been talking about the Jordanelle Basin really having some positive growth ever since I was in high school in the 80s. And it just hasn't happened yet. It's starting to. But right now, if you could imagine all of our Midway students and all of our West Heber students driving on Highway 40, out Highway 40 and making a turn off of Highway 40 to go to a high school, we've heard loud and clear from the residents of Midway that we've spoken to that said, please do not send our kids out on Highway 40. It's the most dangerous road in the county right now. One day there will be lots of infrastructure that comes from multiple areas of the county, and there'll be 3 and 4 stoplights on Highway 40, and turn lanes and all those things. And when that happens, there will be a school out there someday, but now is not the time.
Any other comments? Okay.
I'd like to address the...
Name and address.
Jerry Duke.
Mr. Duke, before you go, Cody Clyde was in front of you, so we'll have Cody go first and then you can go next.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll yield my time.
I'll
yield my time.
You
didn't see him.
I'm sorry.
I'll yield my place in line, not my time.
I wanted to make a comment on the issue of the dam, because I watched the map of that dam in the Postal Service. There we had it in the Bureau of Reclamation had that map in the Postal Service for probably a half a year, and I went over to make sure every day where my house was in relation to that dam failure, because it was on the map, and it skirted the north side of Heber, right about where Muirfield is, and went right down the west side of Heber City. And I don't know if they've changed the map, but I know what it looked like in 1987. If it's changed, I'd like to see it, but that's what it looked like then. I talked to Paul Berg out here. He didn't tell me what he was doing when he came to the meeting, but that's the way it looked then. Just to let you know.
What we see now, and what I assume you were looking at, is what they call secondary.
It was a failure of the dam.
Yeah, and it would most likely be from water carried around by the canal. That's kind of the path that it follows, or even otherwise, it's a 12 to 24 inch scenario, and that's been checked out. Paul Berg's talked directly with the people that manage that dam, and he's come and given us a full report here in a previous public meeting, so we're
Well, I don't think there would be a threat to life. There would be a threat to property, certainly.
And as Mr. Hanson mentioned, if we have a 7-something earthquake, we're going to have a lot more worries than a couple of
That
feet
could
of
be
water.
true. While I'm here, I'd like to address a couple other issues. I managed Days Market over in Park City from 1975 to 1979. And I watched a lot of impact go on over there. They had the impact of increase in home values and increase in population go on there, comparable to what we've got going here right now. They've not been growing a lot as far as population over there recently, but they did at that time.
Just finish up real quick.
I watched a lot of those people that I knew as good customers, long-time charge customers that were forced out of Park City because of what happened. And I just think we need to be, I think there's options that we have here. And I think it's a fundamental disagreement with probably school size. I think we have options that we could buy some time and not put it all on an older population. Because if we load it all up front, there's a time when this is it's just gonna be just like Park City, it's gonna settle down. But if we load it all up front, you're gonna you put it all on a certain age group that's gonna take the brunt of it. I don't think it's fair, and I think that it's gonna hurt some people. It's gonna hurt them real bad. And I think you need to consider that. I hope you would.
Cody Clyde, 999 South, 960 East. There have been a few comments that I definitely agree with that I want to point out. First of all, it is going to be a high cost. There's no doubt about it. I mean, we live in a valley that is just increasing in cost all the time. I don't know what it costs to buy land in Midway right now, but I heard someone say that it's about $300,000 an acre. Building onto or saving the Midway school is not possible because it's a problem. It's a problem school, and I welcome people to go check that out. Costs are never going to go down for construction, and costs will never go down for land. I mean, look at the trends. It's only going to go up, and we can't afford to wait. Cannot afford to wait. The kids cannot afford for us to wait. High cost is going to be on the students and teachers at Wasatch High School and Midway Elementary School if we wait. Opportunity costs will be greater than financial costs. I grew up in an FFA program here, and I graduated in 1992, and I had a graduating class of 150. And because of that small class, I was able to have the opportunity to participate. I wouldn't have been participating in a highly competitive arena. That just was not, I wasn't confident. I wouldn't have had the personality to do that. We have the same amount of programs for kids. We have the same amount of judging competitions. We get to take 4 kids still for each one of those contests. And yet now we have 2,300 kids. And I have to tell kids, no, I'm sorry, I can't take you. You didn't make the cut. And I want to tell more kids that they made the cut. Because it's good education. We need to teach these kids that there are good opportunities. More schools mean more opportunities for kids. And I just wonder where we're going to find land that's going to be cheaper now, and especially in the future. We're running out of options. We've got to do something right now. It is extremely important that we act now. Thank you.
Danny Labrum, 901 South Main. I just want to thank the school board and Superintendent Swatt and the district. I've had meetings with all of you guys, and I think think my tax would probably go up about 10 grand. But I have all the confidence in these men up here, and I challenge a lot of the naysayers to have the one-on-one conversation with you men, right? You gotta get the facts out. But I know you'll find the best way to spend like 10 grand. So thank you.
I'm Brian Thorne, 440 Huckleberry Lane, Heber City. I'm also the principal of Midway Elementary. And we're living every day with a lot of kids. We gathered some data the other day. I've been at Midway now for 9 years. And a couple years ago, we started using a program that assessed kids on reading. And I did a longitudinal kind of report for our teachers. And that year, we assessed 399 kids in our school, which was all our kids in our school. This year, we're over 600, and that's not including our preschool. With our preschool, we're pushing 700 kids. I talked about this last time we talked, and it's we have 5 classrooms in portables right now. And when we had that lockdown, standing out there with those 5 kids in portables was an uncomfortable situation for us. It didn't feel like a safe situation. I want to thank our board. This last time they did the boundary split, there was an effort, or there was a discussion about moving part of the boundaries to another school. And Midway was very passionate about staying together in that school. And I feel like our board has listened to that, and they've tried to be responsive to that. And it's interesting to watch some of the people who are now angry about that, who were angry about getting moved before, which, you know, I mean, that's their prerogative. But I feel like you guys have been really responsive to that. I feel like we have a deteriorating building. You know, we have some issues with that building. It was never designed to have a sewage system to support this many kids, or a kitchen to support this many kids. We see that every day. We put temporary solutions, and our maintenance department's done amazing work with that. But that growth is real, and it's happening, and we need to address it. And I appreciate you guys doing it. As a father, I don't want my kids to go to the largest high school in the state. I want them to have opportunities. They may not be good enough to be on the largest high school teams, state's teams. They want to play lacrosse. They want to be in the play. They want to do those things. And here's what I know as a former high school guy. A kid that spends more than a year in a program at high school has a much better chance of going to college and finishing college than a kid who's not involved in high school. He has a much better chance of graduating from high school if he's involved in things. And we need to make sure that that happens, and I appreciate your efforts to do so, and I just applaud you for taking this on.